Number 1. Origins and division. North Korea's history is intricately tied to the broader history of Korea, which was a unified kingdom for over 1,000 years. The division of Korea began at the end of World War II in 1945, when Japan, which had colonized Korea since 1910, surrendered. The Korean peninsula was subsequently divided along the 38th parallel, with the Soviet Union occupying the north and the United States occupying the south. This division laid the foundation for the establishment of two separate governments in 1948, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, North Korea, and the Republic of Korea, South Korea. Number 2. The establishment of North Korea. Under Soviet guidance, Kim Il-sung, a former anti-Japanese guerrilla leader, was installed as the head of the Provisional People's Committee for North Korea in 1946. Kim Il-sung rapidly consolidated power by purging rivals and instituting land reforms that redistributed land from landlords to peasants. On September 9, 1948, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, DPRK, was officially proclaimed with Kim Il-sung as its premier, solidifying the division of Korea into two ideologically opposed states. Number 3. The Korean War. Tensions between the North and South culminated in the outbreak of the Korean War on June 25, 1950, when North Korean forces, supported by the Soviet Union and China, invaded South Korea. The conflict drew in the United States and other United Nations forces on the side of South Korea. The war resulted in a devastating stalemate, with an armistice signed on July 27, 1953, effectively maintaining the division at the 38th parallel and creating the Korean Demilitarized Zone, DMZ. The war had a lasting impact, deepening the division and animosity between the two Koreas. Number 4. Post-war reconstruction and Stalinist model. After the Korean War, North Korea focused on rebuilding its war-torn economy. With significant aid from the Soviet Union and China, the country adopted a centrally planned economy modeled after the Stalinist system. This period saw rapid industrialization with an emphasis on heavy industries such as steel, machinery, and chemicals. Kim Il-sung's regime implemented a series of 5-year plans that aimed to rebuild the nation's infrastructure and achieve economic self-sufficiency. Number 5. Juche ideology. In the 1960s, Kim Il-sung introduced the Juche ideology, which emphasized self-reliance, independence, and nationalism. Juche became the guiding principle of North Korea's political and economic policies. It rejected dependence on foreign powers and promoted the development of indigenous technology and resources. This ideology was also used to justify the regime's strict control over society and the economy, reinforcing the personality cult surrounding Kim Il-sung. Number 6. Kim Il-sung's cult of personality. Kim Il-sung developed an extensive cult of personality that portrayed him as the great leader and the father of the nation. Propaganda and state-controlled media depicted him as a godlike figure, and his image became ubiquitous throughout the country. Monuments, statues, and portraits of Kim Il-sung were erected in every city and town. This cult of personality was central to maintaining his authority and control over North Korean society. Number 7. Isolation and economic challenges. By the 1970s and 1980s, North Korea's economy began to face significant challenges. The country remained heavily isolated from the global economy due to its self-reliant policies and lack of trade with capitalist countries. While the regime continued to emphasize heavy industry, it struggled with inefficiencies and a lack of technological innovation. Economic growth stagnated, and the standard of living for ordinary North Koreans declined. Number 8. Succession in Kim Jong-il. In the 1980s, Kim Il-sung began preparing for his succession by grooming his son, Kim Jong-il, to take over the leadership. Kim Jong-il was given key positions within the government and the Workers' Party of Korea, WPK. Upon Kim Il-sung's death in 1994, Kim Jong-il assumed power, continuing his father's policies and further entrenching the family dynasty. His rule was marked by a continuation of the personality cult and the Juche ideology. Number 9. The Arduous March. The 1990s were a period of severe crisis for North Korea. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 deprived the country of crucial economic support, leading to widespread famine and economic hardship. This period, known as the Arduous March, saw millions of North Koreans suffer from starvation and malnutrition. The regime's focus on military spending and the maintenance of its isolationist policies exacerbated the crisis. Number 10. Nuclear ambitions. North Korea's pursuit of nuclear weapons has been a central element of its national strategy since the 1990s. In 2006, North Korea conducted its first successful nuclear test, followed by several more in subsequent years. These nuclear ambitions have led to international sanctions and increased isolation, but the regime views its nuclear arsenal as essential for deterrence and the survival of the state. Number 11. Kim Jong-un's leadership. Kim Jong-il's death in 2011 led to the rise of his son, Kim Jong-un, as the new leader of North Korea. Kim Jong-un has continued the policies of his predecessors, maintaining the regime's strict control over the population and pursuing the development of nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles. His rule has also seen a focus on modernizing parts of the economy and infrastructure, though the country remains largely impoverished. Number 12. Diplomatic efforts and tensions. Under Kim Jong-un, North Korea has engaged in both provocative actions and diplomatic overtures. The regime has conducted numerous missile tests and nuclear detonations, leading to heightened tensions with the international community. However, there have also been periods of diplomacy, such as the summits with South Korea and the United States in 2018 and 2019, which aimed to address denuclearization and peace on the Korean Peninsula. Number 13. Current challenges and future prospects. North Korea today faces significant challenges, including ongoing economic difficulties, international sanctions, and a repressive political system. Despite these challenges, the regime remains firmly in control, with Kim Jong-un prioritizing military strength and internal stability. The future of North Korea remains uncertain, with the potential for both further isolation and conflict or possible openings for diplomatic engagement and economic reform. 4-0.